Welcome back to another edition of Max and Nicky Video Game Music Reactions.
Where we react to video game music that we've heard before, sometimes that we haven't heard before, most of the time we have heard before, and
As we tend
dissect,
towards...
analyze, and pick apart these video game tracks that we love.
Yeah, as we tend towards 8-bit and 16-bit era music, although sometimes later for sure.
Sometimes later music for sure. We just did Undertale recently, and even though that has the style of a 16-bit game, still the music is great and it's more recent.
Well, it clearly, though... Look, well, anyway, you can listen to our reaction of... You can watch our reaction of Undertale.
Sure.
And if you want to see us explore that song. One of the songs, Ruins, actually.
What are we doing today, Max?
Today, we are going to be doing Mega Man 2.
The track is Dr. Wily's Castle.
You know it, if you know it.
And who wrote it?
Oh, goodness. Oh.
And the music is by Takashi Tateishi.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And this is a very well-known tune in video game music circles.
Yeah. Oh, you guys know it.
You guys know it. You'll know it if you're watching.
And I hope you guys have fun reacting to us, our reaction.
Yeah.
Reaction.
We're going to take a listen to this right now.
If you like what you see and hear today, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the video, and follow us on Instagram at Max and Nicky and on TikTok at Max and Nicky. Simple as that.
So, without further ado, let's take a listen to Dr. Wily's Castle from Mega Man 2 by Takashi Tateishi. Here we go. It's a classic.
It's a classic.
That's the best.
That's one of the best. One of the best VGM tracks of all time.
I will say Mega Man 2, I mean, is an argument. There's a debate here. I mean, Mega Man 2, one of the best soundtracks of any video game.
And I would argue that it might be the best soundtrack of any Mega Man.
Well,
maybe Mega Man 3 though.
Mega Man 3. Brenda and I, we weren't debating. We were discussing really
our older brother
whether or not Mega Man 3 or Mega Man 2 is better. Which one has pound for pound more really
track
good
for
tracks.
track.
Pound for Pound, which has more tracks. I guess track for track or whatever.
Which track for track, which one is better?
Yeah, that's right. And we think that we're not sure, actually. I mean,
but I will say,
our older brother thought Mega Man 3 at first, and then I was counting, and I thought, well, I don't know, Mega Man 2 though too.
But this song in particular, it really makes you just want to rock out.
I will say,
I mean, especially when it comes to that. I really want to just almost like mosh or something to that. It's really funny. You really want to dance to
that part. Actually, what's kind of cool about that is there's this counter bass line that's happening. Bum, going bum 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 da, bum bum bum. It really kind of balances things out and really supports that part.
I like that
in a very nice. It complements it in a very nice way.
I like that the track starts off with a lot of higher instruments. It's kind of on one level at first, and you're like, oh, where's the bass instruments? Where's the lower end? And it's nice the way it starts. It's that initial melody. And then, but something's coming. Something's coming, and you're just anticipating it. And then finally, this bass comes in that's doing this other thing, and it takes over, actually. That it's kind of set to the background, and this bass comes in, and that gets its shining spot, and then it transitions into this sort of pre-chorus part, and then the that becomes the main melody, whereas that becomes almost the backing.
You're kind of getting this a little confused, actually.
Okay.
The part where that becomes sort of that rhythmic actually happens on the part that goes. I didn't even realize this until maybe this listen, but the bridge part where it goes da 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 da. That actually has the.
Oh no, I know exactly.
That actually has it, which is interesting. I never even noticed that.
Well, it's interesting that the initial melody becomes almost the counterpoint melody in a way.
It
right?
is a kind of a counterpoint. It is a real counterpoint. Actually, this song is very counterpoint, contrapuntal heavy for sure, and it's a heavy track, man.
It's dark. It's heavy.
But I will say an interesting key change actually happening there. It's going as I guess it is just a half step up, but to do a modulation, it's not just like your regular old end of song. Go chromatically up to a new key. This is a bridge we're talking. It's just a half step up. That's an interesting key change for modulating on the bridge.
Just for those of you who are not familiar with these music theory terms, modulation happens when there is a significant key change. And
a key change means your tonal center changes.
So okay, but what's the difference between modulation and itonicization?
Not itonicization, just tonicization.
Tonicization.
Not itonicization. Tonicization is just a brief key change, and it's a brief key change.
Right.
It's not even changing keys. It's just sort of it changes the tonal center briefly. I mean, for these, I know we're talking shop right now, so
Well, but maybe these listeners are interested. Comments. Let us know if you're interested in this kind of music theory talk.
Well,
because these video composers are really utilizing. Sometimes I think a lot of them did have music theory in their backgrounds. Some of them didn't. They just were complete naturals. But when they're dealing with these 8-bit sounds, they have to know. They have to have some level of musical knowledge to be able to create this stuff because they have such limitations in what they could create that we still haven't even gotten to other parts yet.
I was going to say, actually, I think the reason, especially on these 8-bit games, why there's so much counterpoint and contrapuntal writing is because they had such a limited amount of voices, they had to create harmony through in a very melodic way. So like you might hear that in Baroque music a lot is you'll hear the harmony that's spelled out through the notes that are being played as opposed to one sort of wash of notes playing at the same time, which will give you a chord.
Right.
But because they were limited, they had to kind of spell out the harmony with their contrapuntal writing, as it were,
Contrapuntal also meaning counterpoint, basically. Counterpoint, by the way, if you don't understand that, it's basically a melody that's moving. It's like another melody that's moving kind of in a different direction.
No. Not a different direction. Actually, well, it can be a different direction, but true contrapuntal writing, and this is why this displays it so well, is when it's not rhythmically the same and it's doing something different,
right?
Completely. Sometimes you'll have counter motion as opposed to parallel motion in writing, and that's not real counterpoint. That's just parallel motion.
That's when they are moving in different directions.
No, parallel motion is when they're moving in the same direction.
I just said counter
motion.
Counter motion.
I think that's what I don't know the
but
exact.
I wanted to mention something.
But I want to say what's is cool is we hear counterpoint a lot in this song, but then at the end of the form, dun da 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 da,
it's all
you have a harmonization with that melody, and that's running in parallel motion, which is
right.
It's interesting. So
yeah, it kind of builds.
This is a really great song.
It's very well constructed.
It's well constructed, well composed. Baroque.
He had to have known what he was doing, right?
I mean, these guys, real true. And what's kind of cool about it is it has a very rock and roll kind of feel to it, too, at the same time.
I also wanted to mention there's a cool part, the initial time you hear da 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 da. The instrument that's going on, I can't remember what wave sound that is, but it's doing a thing where he's created this almost delay effect that's going on, like a reverberated delay effect. Obviously, they didn't have, you couldn't do that. So you had to use those sounds to create a delay effect. And what he did was he kind of broke apart the wave sounds, so it sounded like there was this delay effect going on. That's what it sounded like to me.
Oh, interesting.
It was like
gotcha.
Like it was kind of doing like that kind of a thing, and it's really cool. I think that's
and I want to just I know this is a very simple thing, but very effective. Is it's either trying to mimic a snare or a cymbal, because the sound effects are
that's a white noise basically.
No, I know, but because of the sound effect is cruder, it's on the offbeat, so it gives this sort of, I guess, this kind of driving feel because it's going. The accent is on the offbeat.
Well, but that also kind of gives it this rockin' feel.
That's what I'm saying. It gives a driving feel to it.
Anyway, this is a great track.
I mean, I know that's a simple thing, and that might sound like something very basic, but just it works really well in this, because it's really present and it gives it a driving force to it, I feel,
I mean, this is a great track. This is one of this is really truly one of the best. There's a lot of genius displayed in this track, genius level songwriting, and I hope you guys have realized that through watching and reacting with us.
And I will just say, the melody is just very strong.
It's catchy.
It's a very strong melody.
Above all else, it's catchy.
It's catchy. And that's something we enjoy in our music, and particularly, not particularly, but any of our music, but in this, our video games. I feel like when we play video games, we want something catchy because that gets us in the mood to play the game.
In the mood to play the game. Hey, I'll tell you what, if this got you into the mood to listen and watch more reaction videos by us, hit that subscribe button. You can catch more reaction videos from us. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button,
and follow us at Max and Nicky
on Instagram and on TikTok. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Max and Nicky VGM Reactions.
Tune in next time.